And I know a lot of you have heard me outline this before, but I really believe that we are living in Babylon now, in a digital Babylon that's hostile to faith and yet borrows many of its categories to actually even exist and justify itself. And we see that in healthcare as well. And more than ever, I believe that God is calling us to live and to speak for him in every aspect of our lives. And as we join together at CMF, we come with our own personal heart, our own mission, if you like. And that's in general to love God, to be made more like Jesus. But specifically, as Angela just quoted there, Ephesians 2:10, Paul says that we are created to do those good works. And God has prepared them in advance for each one of us that we might walk in them. Isn't that amazing? And we long to see God's church and God's people be spirit-filled, word-saturated, God-glorifying men and women who love people and love the places that he's placed us in. And I believe that as we gather as CMF, as you see on this screen, that we have this opportunity, if you like, under this umbrella to be part of a like-minded group of people who want to be transformed by the gospel and then through that to see transformation around us. And we do that together. We do that being on mission together, if you like. And as we're on mission together, as we join with like-minded people, we have so many opportunities to reach unbelievers who attend appointments but who don't go into churches anymore, to inspire students and juniors to live out their faith for their whole career on the wards, through hospitality, through sharing as those who have walked the path before, that kind of mentoring and support and peer networks to inspire resilience in their walk with the Lord, to prepare those to go and cross cultures to those who are unreached in this post-COVID world, increasing challenges and complexities there. Or even here, reaching into our hospitals, being those who excel in what we do and in an increasingly demoralized workforce pointing to Jesus. Or how about equipping churches to speak into issues of health and well-being in congregations? And then responding to the crisis around us. Crisis means threat and opportunity, doesn't it? To be the new pioneers and be change makers in our generation. And we believe that is the role of CMF. And so what about catalyst teams? Are they the end goal? Well, kind of yes and no, really. So yes, in a sense that we do more than ever want to see teams of people come together to pray and to work together, as we heard Paul speak about. And we've got 13 teams at the moment, and I'll show you them in a minute on the map, but 13 teams. We're expecting about 30 to bring coverage to the whole of the UK. So to some degree, they're an end goal, but actually in another way, they're not the end goal. They're a vehicle to get us there. They're the means through which we think that God can work effectively through us. And I will send you a handbook, which, if you haven't already received it, outlines lots of detail about how they work. But I just want to paint a few quick broad strokes, if you like, in the next 5 minutes. So we've got this as an acronym, VTE, our vision, teams, and equipping. And more than ever, we need to be led by vision. We need to hear what God is saying and to look beyond sort of maintenance and see why we're doing what we're doing. Why is CMF important in this region that I live in? And so we encourage CMF catalyst teams to be linked to the overall mission and vision of CMF. So if you move around the country, as some of us do with our jobs, that you'll get a sense of, okay, here's a like-minded group of people. They've got the same DNA. We'll also see these regional variations. So we have these riverbanks, but actually within those riverbanks, there's plenty of room to swim. Merseyside, very different to West Yorkshire, and so on and so on. The demographics, the geography, who God has called to join your team, what vision God is putting on your hearts. And we've had so many things happen. So much of the things that happened over COVID initial period were from catalyst teams. Our Voices from the Frontline started from a conversation with James, one of the leaders. Our Pause and Pray, which was what we did, the COVID 1900 prayer, started up in the Highlands and Islands. And the outworking of this vision might be those things. It might be Zoom groups or fellowship groups, pastoral support networks, mentoring, reaching into our hospitals, linking to the local church. But overall, let's be people of prayer and say, God, what is it that you're calling us to do? So vision. And then secondly, team. We want to be real teams. And we're meant to, these teams are meant to be sort of scalable, I guess, and reproducible to some degree. But as I say, they'll look different according to where we are. And we want to be teams where we pray for one another, support and equip one another. Each team has a team leader who we appoint. And we also have a culture, we have values that permeate what we do. So for example, we believe in every member ministry. It's not just the professionals doing the work. We are members of a body, and every member plays its part, as per 1 Corinthians 12. And we want to be those who train and resource one another to fulfill the unique calling that God has called us to do. We want to be people of prayer. I've already said that really, but first and foremost, be people of prayer. We're enablers. So teams are where we have roles in areas of interest, but it's not that we do all the ministry in those roles, but actually our heart is to then enable others. So if you're overseeing small groups in a region, you're not running all the small groups, but you're actually envisaging others and equipping others who are hosting small groups, for example. We're equipping. We believe in equipping. It's all well and good having a role description, but actually we do want to equip, as I'll mention in a moment. We want to be learning communities. Bit of a buzzword really, isn't it? But we want to genuinely be those where we learn together. And actually as part of a wider network, like we're doing today, like I do with our team leaders, like we're developing, we want to have opportunities to inspire and share with one another. And then accountability, we believe in that. We believe that it works both ways. Both at CMF centrally has an accountability. So we have time limited roles and we commit to giving resources and support. But on the other hand, it's good, isn't it, locally as well, to say, look, this is what we're planning to do, and then to help one another. We're so busy and we often overcommit, don't we, in medicine and nursing, but it's good to help one another, to be accountable in a gentle way to help us honour Christ. And our current teams are on the screen. I've mentioned there's 13 at the moment, and there's more in the pipeline. Let's be praying, again, not that we just have more teams for the sake of it, but actually that these teams would genuinely see them make a difference in the places where we live and work. And then finally, equipping, and we're going to do this through peer support, through webinars, through specific streams at conferences, offering training for roles, linking people in. In the chat, we're going to put a little link to some Catalyst team training videos, if you haven't seen them already, which you may have done. There's lots more of me talking, I'm afraid, but we're going to be putting more and more training resources there as well.